Caddis Maximus here, this time with just a quick review for anybody who might be looking at picking one of these up for cheap. This is Altec Lansing Solo Motion, little portable Bluetooth speaker. It's not waterproof. Model number IMW120-BLK. It does have a little wrist strap and, play and pause and remote volume. This does not have that volume synchronization capability where if you press the volume on a unit, it also synchronizes with the device, say if you pair it with your phone. Older Bluetooth devices, you'd have to turn the volume up on the device as well as your phone to get maximum volume. Newer ones, such as this Altec Lansing H2O portable speaker, not only is waterproof, but when you press the volume on this, it will synchronize, say, with the phone, and so both volumes go up at the same time, so you can control either or instead of having to interact with both. As far as sound level, it's super quiet, super tiny. Not a very long-lasting battery at all. It's kind of one of those little kind of cheesy products, which is still overpriced because I think it was like $10 or $15, but for how poorly this thing performs, it's like a $5 novelty item. It's really surprising. A Bluetooth speaker like this is about the smallest size I'd really recommend. This is much better. Even though it's about twice the size, it's 3 times the sound and 3 times the product. So just to give you an idea. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick review of this not just of this little Altec Lansing, but to generally stay away from these tiny little Bluetooth speakers because you're just going to be disappointed in them. And I wanted to take this one apart because it's always kind of fun to take stuff apart and see what's inside. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Anyway, it looks like we've got just a screen. There's no other evidence of screws. I can't feel any indentations under the sticker here. So the screws must be under the grill, so we're going to try to use a pick to go ahead and pry this grill out of here. Shouldn't be too hard. These are the type of things that usually are glued or they have some kind of weird plastic clips, and it just takes a little bit of... It's glued. I can see glue in there. Let me get a little flat screwdriver. Alright, I got a little husky screwdriver here that I've already bent up and abused in various other situations. This thing is not very good quality at all. Really pretty kind of cheesy little unit. It's kind of interesting. They have a like a felt surface glued onto the front of the plastic. I think that's just to reflect or to dissipate light so that it's not as easy to get a reflection out of the inside. And we can see it's just a plain piece of felt. And then there's 4 screw holes around here. You can see this little driver compared to my thumb. It's just a microscopic little unit. And yes, indeed, it is a speakerphone because there's our operational LED light. Then right there, there's a little microphone. All right, got some little screwdrivers. We'll use these little Harbor Freight precision electrical or electrician's rated screwdrivers. We'll just be extra safe and careful because it is an electrical item, even though only 3.6 volts. We got our 4 little screws here. Get those little guys out of here. Indeed, these screwdrivers from Harbor Freight, these Pittsburghs, are they have a good tip shape. They're grabbing nicely, and they are magnetized, so that's always handy. There's our 4 little screws. Now we got to somehow dig this whole tray out of here. Figure out how that. Oh, it probably just is the whole front cover. There we go. And there's our little driver. It is actually a deep throw driver. That's kind of interesting. It has a huge magnet for a tiny little speaker. Kind of like large car subwoofers, so they have huge magnets almost the size of the driver. Kind of the same way here, like a mini subwoofer. If we pull off a little, we have a couple little electrical type foam pads. And that's to hold the battery in the back. The battery, you can feel, is also double-sided sticky tape. If we pull this foam pad off, maybe we can see some stats on the speaker. Probably not, because the adhesive's usually pretty good. Yeah, it's going to be too hard to see anything about that speaker because that's all on top of it. We can see the LED light here as this little surface mount component shines through a little lens to get into the front. Here's our 2 super thin wires going to that microphone that we saw earlier. And see, these things really just don't have a whole lot going for them. And this case is big enough where they could have 2 drivers in it and a much larger battery all in the same case. Charge a few more dollars, but these like cheap little products like these are always just kind of annoying because they're always so disappointing. They're just so cheesy. So there's all the guts. The speaker is glued into the front with actually a pretty hard glue. It's not Celastic. Oh, it is pretty soft, so we can just pry that out. There's the microphone. And actually we were able just to yank that out too. Look at the size of that little microphone. That thing is tiny. So what's kind of interesting is this whole unit still operates in this condition. When you first turn on, there you are. There's the little blue and the little red LEDs, and then there's a green one next to that. But they're all independent lights instead of being a tricolor. I didn't turn it on. It announces itself that it's an Altec Lansing and the YouTube's copy strike landscape. Anything, basically anything. I've read all sorts of, watched videos of people complaining about literally 1 and 2 second clips automatically getting, you know, copy striked or copyright claims. It's really pretty ridiculous. So that's one of the reasons I don't have music. I gotta figure out the YouTube free music. Here's the little battery that they use. They don't have any kind of label on it whatsoever. Just a custom made flat pack. Anyway, I just wanted to take this little thing apart. I was going to take it apart anyway and recycle it, but I just kind of wanted to show people inside. And there's our the few chips. There's actually, I guess one of these is a little amplifier chip, and of course a little processor and Bluetooth device. The only thing that seems particularly odd is that the battery power wires coming in, there's like, you know, what would have been a connector, a removable connector, and they just soldered it, but the negative is actually soldered right over here on the circuit instead of into the other hole, and that's kind of interesting. Let me see if I can get a last zoom in here for anybody who's actually interested in the specific circuits. I don't know if this camera will show or can get enough resolution to see what those chips are. You probably will in HD. I'm going to be uploading this in HD. If we can get, there we go. There's a good look at that small chip, and then whatever that little chip right there is. Anyway, just wanted to show people what's inside these cheesy little Bluetooth speakers, and to really, you know, buy yourself a dinner or something like that. Some LED light bulbs for your house to save yourself some money to buy other stuff. As opposed to these little cheesy Bluetooth speakers. They're just basically only slightly better than what's built into your phone. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.